Hello and welcome to our tutorial on the Form 940 Box 4 when you see that it contains a negative amount. A negative amount will show in Box 4 of the Form 940 if an other pay has been set up as FUTA taxable, but the Add to Gross box was not checked, or if a company paid deduction has been set up as FUTA taxable. As a note, when an other pay has been selected as taxable for FUTA, then it should also be selected as Add to Gross. For example, my 940 shows a negative amount of $210 in Box 4. If we try to continue on to the next step, we're going to get a warning that the IRS is going to reject the filing with a negative amount in line 4. Only payments that are exempt from FUTA tax should be entered in Box 4, so we need to correct this before filing to avoid any penalties. You will need to create two reports to determine how this amount was calculated. You'll need an Other Pay Period Activity report and a Deduction report for period activity. We'll first look at the Other Pay Period Activity report. I'm going to go to Payroll, Reports, Other Pay Reports, Period Activity. Here we can see I've created a report that I've called Other Pay FUTA Taxable Not Added to Gross. I'm running it for all my other pays for year to date. I've added two filters. The first filter is to select from the Payroll Other Pay table. And the first field I want is it taxable for FUTA? The value to be equal to true. So this first filter is asking the report to return any other pay that's been set up as FUTA taxable. The second filter that I'm adding is again coming from the same table, the Payroll Other Pay table. And this time I'm going to select the field called Tax Category. The Tax Category field is actually the label for the Add to Gross. We need to determine if an other pay has been selected as Add to Gross. So for the second filter, we're going to select the PR Other Pay Tax Category is equal to 0. With our two filters, we're asking our report to return any other pay that's set up as FUTA taxable and not added to gross. When I say OK and preview my report, we can see that it is coming up that I do have one other pay called Uniform with $210. The second report is going to be the Deductions report under Payroll, Reports, Deduction Reports, Period Activity. This time I have set up another report called Company Paid and FUTA Taxable. So I'm wanting a report that shows any company paid deductions that have been set as FUTA taxable. I've selected all deductions and I've selected a reporting period of year to date. For my filters, I've added two filters. The first filter is coming from the PR deduction table with the field is taxable FUTA equal to true. What this filter is saying is I want the report to return any deduction that has been set up as FUTA taxable. The second filter is going to be again from the PR deduction table, and the field I want is range, and I want a range to be greater than 1. What this is saying is I want to see company paid deductions only. Anything that is 0 or 1 is going to be an individual deduction. I want to see only company paid deductions, which is why I'm using a greater than 1 for the range. With these two filters, I have asked the report to return any company paid deduction that is set to FUTA taxable. I'm going to say OK and preview this to the screen. I'm going to get a message that tells me that the report cannot be generated, that there was no data returned to match my filters. So basically it's telling me that I have no company paid deductions set up that are FUTA taxable. As mentioned previously, anytime you have an other pay set up as FUTA taxable, the add to gross box should also be checked. If you forget to check the add to gross box, and as in our example, we find out that we did have $210 of an other pay that was FUTA taxable, not added to gross, to correct our 940 form, we simply add the $210 into our box 3 because it should be a part of the gross wages. If I take the 67,237.05 from my box 3 and add the $210, which is the negative amount that is showing in the box 4, that means we need to change the amount in line 3 to 67,447.05. So we'll do that right now and zero out the $210. Everything has now been recalculated correctly. This concludes our tutorial today. Thank you for joining us.